For the past 2 months or so, I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter World. So much so that I can safely say that I'm addicted to it. Though I think I'm more addicted to Monster Hunter in general, but World is pretty dang good by itself. As I played the game, I kept thinking this simple thought. Hey, wouldn't it be nice to have all the achievements for this thing? The more and more I thought about it, the more and more convinced I became that 100%ing this game would be beneficial for me. I had heard from pretty much everyone who had done it or had tried it that the journey was absolutely not worth the effort. Despite this, I decided to go for it anyway, and now we're here, on a video that is probably titled, "The Worst 100% I've Ever Done," or something like that. So as a cautionary tale to all who are thinking about doing this, let me tell you why you shouldn't. To help explain why this 100% is so bad, I'm first going to explain the core gameplay loop of Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World is all about the hunt. Hunting monsters, taking their parts, and then making new gear which is used to hunt more monsters. Your purpose in the game is to explore the new world and discover why this big monster, Zora Magdaros, is migrating here. This purpose is guided along through your hunts, proving yourself and eventually building up to bigger, more significant hunts. So the core gameplay loop is pretty simple. You hunt monsters. That is the beginning and the end of it all. There are other things besides hunting, each being just as important as the hunts themselves, though these aren't all required to beat the game. Things like gathering materials, learning new weapons, creating builds around said weapons, and researching the monsters you hunt are all part of the core experience. With such a simple core gameplay loop, you'd think that Capcom would be able to make some pretty fun achievements for this game. If you think that, then unfortunately, you're thinking wrong, because several of the game's achievements have almost nothing to do with the core gameplay. There's a group of these that I like to call the Big Three. These achievements all have to do with side objectives within the game that have nothing to do with the core gameplay loop. Well, all except for one. I'll save that one for last, as it is what I believe to be the worst of the worst. What makes the Big Three so bad is their reliance on RNG, the magical system that I and several other gambling addicts love. In this case, the RNG feels weighed against you at all times. The chances of things happening in your favor are astronomically low. These are pretty much the sole reason I'm here, so I'll cover them in detail. I'll discuss some of the other bad stuff afterwards, so stick around if you want to hear about those. So with that being said, let's kick it off with the Big Three, shall we? Starting off, we have the 11 achievements for catching rare endemic life. You heard me right, 11 achievements. That's just over 10% of the game's entire achievement list. Endemic life are the smaller creatures that live in the various regions of the Monster Hunter series. In World, these creatures can be caught and kept as pets. Many species of endemic life have a rare variant, the only real difference between the two being color. Unlike some games, the title of rare does in fact hold true to these creatures. They are not common whatsoever. In fact, they are so uncommon that there is a food skill that increases the likelihood of them spawning. There are other species of endemic life though that don't have a common variant, these creatures being the rarest of them all, requiring specific conditions to spawn like weather or time of day. These conditions make hunting for them a massive pain. I cannot tell you how many hours I spent running around a region, resetting it by traveling to another region, and coming back just to still not find what I was looking for. I would do this over and over again, occasionally returning to the hub area to reapply the Zoomaster skill. The time of day requirements were the worst, forcing me to wait an extended period of time before I could even attempt to look for them again. Some of these creatures, like the Wintermoon Nettle, could despawn and my window to find them again wouldn't be for several hours. This chase is pointless beyond cosmetics. The only real use for them are as pets you place in your room. There is no research level for them, and no real benefit to catching them. It takes you away from what you should be doing for far too long. Though these little guys do look pretty cute. Rare endemic life are one thing, but treasure tips are on another level. These achievements are some of the most uncommon in the entire game. These things have a lot of details that go into them, so bear with me. In order to find a treasure, you first need to unlock Paw Swap. Paw Swap being a minigame accessed after getting a region's Grimalkin tribe to level 6. During Paw Swap, you can offer the tribe an item. If the Grimalkin likes your item, then it will do a little dance or beg really hard for you to trade. Trading with them has a chance to give you a treasure hint. From there, you must decipher a set of clues to find the treasure hidden somewhere in the region. There are 10 of these per region. each getting more and more convoluted the further you get into it. Some treasures even having multiple clues you need to follow before finding the actual treasure. The RNG here was in my favor, at least for the most part. Nearly every trip netted me a hint, though I had bad spells during that which told me how bad it could really get. There's a good chance you could get one hint and then not see another one for hours, each time being told just to come back again, resetting the camps just to turn up the same conclusion. I like the idea of having an achievement for this kind of thing, but in this case, I think they should have kept it to finding one treasure instead of all of them. And here we arrive at the big one, the crown jewel of the big three. An achievement set so dastardly that I use it as the biggest reason to avoid this achievement hunt. This one has to do with the size crowns. This one set of achievements completely broke me. On paper, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is collect a single crown of both large and miniature size from nearly every monster in the game. This means hunting a large and small version of each monster. The only issue is that crown sizes are so ludicrously rare that even after 300 hours of playing, I only had 8 mini and 5 large crowns in low to high rank. In master rank, I only had 3 of each. With a total of 60 monsters in the game that can even have crowns, this was absolutely abysmal. You can get some guaranteed crowns through events, which is what I did to get the first of the crown achievements, only requiring 10 of each in lower high rank, after which it was all up to random chance. To put into perspective the odds of finding one of these, the base optional quests only have a 1 to 2% chance of spawning either variant. Going up from there, good investigations have a 6% chance, the highest being 12% from multi-monster event quests. I used one of these event quests to maximize my chances of getting a large crown Puke Puke. Even with the odds stacked in my favor, at least as far as I could go, this one monster took me around 90 minutes to get the crown for. I did this again with Bareth, looking for a mini crown this time. Bareth took me even longer at nearly 2 hours. I realized that each hunt after this would take longer and longer as the monsters got tougher, the hardest ones taking the longest to hunt, all to see if I measured right. And if I didn't, it was back to square one. I did my best to farm each monster, trying over and over again to get a crown, each time coming up empty. So I did what any sane person would do. I gave up. Having spent the last near 100 hours working towards achievements, seeing just how awful crowns were was what broke me. I modded the game to guarantee crown sizes and got to work hunting monsters. This is an admission of guilt. I did not get this set legitimately. I modded the game to guarantee victory, and I do not feel bad about it at all. By this point, I had completely abandoned the core gameplay. I would occasionally step back in to do a few good hunts here and there, helping people on SOS and playing with a friend of mine. Realizing just how long it would take to grind out all 60 monsters worth of crowns, needing 2 from each of them, I decided that I was better off just giving myself what I needed. I even did math based on my average hunting attempts. If every monster took roughly 100 minutes to get 1 crown for, then it would have taken me around 200 hours to get them all. This kind of achievement is one that I feel is extremely unfair to not only the player, but the game itself. It undermines the whole point of hunting, requiring you to do reset upon reset, eyeballing a measurement that you can't 100% guarantee until you've finished hunting. Then you get to see that you are just a few centimeters short and need to reset again. It engages with the core gameplay, but exists in an eclipsed shadow, one that blots out the purpose of the core gameplay loop. If there's any set of achievements that I could point to and say, those ones, do anything but those, then it'd be these crown achievements. They remove all the fun from hunting, and as a result, nearly damaged the entire game for me. There are other issues with this 100%, issues that many other games have. RNG is tedious, but it's better than forced requirements. There are many achievements locked behind the DLC paywall, those and ones that require you to play online, meaning that without internet, you lose out on them. Or for those of you on a console, you have to pay to get them. I've never been a big fan of these kinds of achievements, but that's another discussion for another time. Another reason to steer you away from this 100% are do X amount of Y achievements. For the most part, these are perfectly fine. All they ask you to do is play the game. It's pretty simple stuff. Some just ask you to do far too much. The standout one in my mind being the 50 arena quests. These are already tedious, but doing 50 of them is just annoying. It's a base game achievement, and there aren't even 50 arena quests in the base game itself. It'd be way cooler to have an achievement like complete every arena. That would at least encourage me to take on each of the arena challenges. A lot of achievements could be fixed this way. Apart from the big three, the biggest issue I have with Monster Hunter World's 100% is a lack of fulfillment. There weren't many achievements that I felt truly rewarded to obtain. The best of these were the ones for just playing the game, getting through the story and discovering a few side things here and there, though these only make up a small percentage of the achievements. I feel like it would have been so much better to have had achievements that actually felt like achievements. Overcoming challenges in a challenging game, learning and adapting to the difficulty, and coming out the other end as a better hunter. Things like doing each quest solo or completing all the optional quests. You could even replace the endemic life achievements with ones that encourage you to use the game's weapons, either using them a specific number of times or for crafting one of each weapon type. Anything to actually encourage you to learn the game. But that's not what we got, and that's pretty unfortunate. Achievement hunting is supposed to be fun. At its core, achievement hunting is meant to challenge you, to go above and beyond the normal 100%, allowing you to learn a game and all its secrets. Though for some reason, a lot of devs just don't know how to make these things. I'm sure to talk about other achievement hunts I've done, but I'll get to all that nonsense later. For now, I want to leave a parting warning and some final words. Like I said a second ago, achievement hunting is supposed to be fun, at least in the eyes of those who do it. The 100% for Monster Hunter World took a fun game and showed me almost every possible way that fun could be removed from it. If you like or even love Monster Hunter World, then please understand that this task will not be kind to you. It isn't hard by any means, at least not if you have an understanding of the game itself. I do not recommend doing this 100%. It is far more rewarding and fun to just play the game as it is. If you want to 100% it, then do stuff like trying every weapon or completing every hunt. These are far more deserving as factors towards 100%ing the game. If you insist on taking things a step further, then collect every ingredient or craft every weapon. Those things are still lengthy and tedious, but they don't put you through an RNG fest or require you to do anything but play the game. I really love Monster Hunter World. I'm hoping to cover it again in the future, at least in a more positive light. I've just spent the better part of 3 weeks idly throwing myself at this wall, so at the moment, this is all fresh in my mind. For anyone who did this 100% and left the game as a result, I ask that you give World another chance. Come back and play the game without focusing on any of the obnoxious optional crap that plagues the cracks of the game. To anyone who watched this and has no idea what Monster Hunter even is, I ask that you check it out. You don't have to play it, but take a look at some videos or read some posts about the series. Monster Hunter is great, and while it is unfortunately made by a company I don't trust, I'm excited to sink my teeth deeper into the series. Though I don't think I'll ever be chasing their achievements again. Well, maybe just one more.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I need